Jim and Terry Show coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bobcaygeon. I'm one of your hosts, Terry.
I'm the other guy, Jim. I like that music, Terry.
You like that?
Yeah.
I forget what it's from.
Well, you wrote it or something. It's your voice on the end of it.
I know, and I can't even remember the name of it. I just like the opening line. That was written for Master Olav Lemhagen.
What the heck?
Lemhagen, the older Swedish orchestrator, the jazz band guy who wanted someone to sing his jazz music and his covers that he was doing, and that was written about the departure of his wife. His wife passed before he did, and he was lonely, and what is life all about at that age when he's 80 something, and his wife passed away. She had a long illness, and so it's about the emptiness of the house when the presence is gone. Yeah. Anyway, that's where that came from. Lots of sadness this week, and let's focus in on what does it mean to us as two retired septuagenarians that a 30-something-year-old young man is assassinated in front of a crowd of people, and
3,000 anyways.
Yeah.
That university has 40,000 students. It's big. How sad. My brother Bobby told me about it, and I was very saddened by it. I didn't even know who he really was. I figured he was a right-wing promoter. And it's funny enough, as fate would have it, he was actually defending the right to have.
Well, among many things that he has said, on the day of such a tragic event, there is always the inclination to, I'm not going to say whitewash, but, sort of say, yes, we're all sad, and yes, it is tragedy. Gun violence should never be tolerated. But you don't see many people talking about, let's make gun legislation. Yeah,
well, you're absolutely right about that. You said that, flags are lowered in Washington for this young man of 31.
White House.
At the White House, and yet, so whole schools have been shot up and killed, and nobody lowers the flags. So it's just the way the world is right now, and Trump will politicize. He's already politicized it.
His opening statement, 1 hour after the event, was no encouraging word at all.
No.
So it's tough when the president, the leader, can only muster words that are self-aggrandizing, that draws attention to himself and calls out. He talked about the need to bring America together, and then he uses divisive language, the radical lefts,
and right now the United States needs to pull it together and come together. Not gonna. I really don't think so. I think they're so far gone. I blame Donald Trump for that, by the way. He's the one that really promoted this absolute hating of the other people, and with his rhetoric and his talking and his belittling and his downplaying everything. So I think this is what you've now got, United States, and it's sad. And I don't like it because one guy's shot and I'm saddened.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what's to come.
And this is one fellow we know, and this is the danger of the media, because we know people in our communities who pass away. Do you see any big stage, big celebration, big sorrow, big anything, and people are dying every day, but one person? What's the difference? Charlie Kirk, who is he? Well, we could look at his career. I've watched his debate for nearly a decade now, since he started the founding of that political youth movement that he had. I don't want to say too many negative things about it, but it caught my ears because of the things he was saying were not things that I would say a Christian should say. And again, we got to that point where you and I are saying, what is a Christian these days? How do you tell?
Well, and how you tell is if it's as simple as this. If it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. So you can say you're Christian all you want, but if you're not acting at all like it, I mean, we all make mistakes, but a lot of us are not in the public light. But you're in the public light.
You've chosen that.
You've chosen
to be
that, and you have a nice prayer meeting. Then you walk out and lie to the nation you're supposed to be representing.
Levitt.
Yeah, I mean, she just lies like crazy. So I don't know if there's, and that other woman, White, is it?
Paula White. the spiritual counselor.
Yeah, the Paula White, basically saying, I'm God. So, I mean, you know.
Well, when she goes out into the what I call
The
it,
White
the
House,
taco patio,
yeah.
the concrete patio that he paved under the rose garden, so there's no rose garden. It all looks like a cheap outdoor hotel or patio with umbrellas. I thought, oh man, when she steps on that, it's holy ground, because where she goes, that's where God is. And I thought, that's a little crazy talk.
Well,
here.
it is crazy talk, and I know what some people could twist it and say it, but you've got to put it in its at what you're looking at, and these are self-glorifying people that are basically saying, I'm that important. I'm that important, and you know, we got to remember, just like we saw in that video, that when Moses came before God, God said, take off your shoes because you're on holy ground, because God was there, not you went there, so I'm going there with you, holy Moses.
Yeah, you go first and I will follow you.
Yeah. No, God goes before. And so all of that is happening in America. And then I don't know how you can say this is the glorious, glorious man of God who just keeps lying and people die under his control and crap happens all over the place. It's like your book says, everything he touches dies or is
Rick
destroyed.
Wilson book.
Yeah.
That has been prescient, and I forget what year that was, 2017, maybe 2018. It's always the same story with everything.
Yeah,
from
because it's just about him.
It's just about him.
He has no conscience, and we were talking about in a previous podcast about that. You know, he's going to make this a way to bypass the Epstein files, and he'll take advantage of that. Where my first reaction was the poor wife and the two kids.
Yes.
That was my first reaction. The guy's only 31 years old. I didn't even know his political. I just assumed, and I was right in my assumptions. But my thought was, this is sad as hell. Just really, really sad. And I'm concerned about the tit for tat, this kind of thing. Once that gets out of control, you've got that civil war.
Well, let's go to the humanity side of it, which is my first reaction as well as yours, was the empathy extended to family on loss. The loss of someone. Tragic life, 31, to go out with violence. It's not as if we were suffering for years from cancer. It's not as if we got in an accident. This was an intentional act by someone to perpetrate violence on somebody else.
Just because of their views, maybe. But you don't know that.
We don't know.
You don't know who the guy was firing. I mean, remember the one that tried to take out Trump? I think he was a Republican.
Yes.
Yeah, so you don't know who's firing, but this is where the problem goes.
Yeah.
Everybody will go to their coffee shops, and they'll sit down and have their coffee together.
As you and I are this morning.
Yeah, and they will determine exactly the reason that happened. When you and me talked about conspiracy things, there's all kinds of twists and turns that this could make.
But we wait and see for the facts.
Yeah, you have to wait and
follow
see.
the facts.
Yeah.
We don't go. Conspiracy theory usually is leading the facts. You go somewhere without evidence, and then you hope there's evidence for what you say.
And if you don't find evidence, you'll find someone else who believes the same as you, which isn't evidence at all.
That's just you gathering your friends.
It's just gathering your friends around. Yeah. So I can't imagine some of the sad garage talk that's going on today. A guy died.
Yes.
And this is sad.
It is sad.
I realize he died basically preaching the very blessings on the right to be able to shoot him, I guess.
That was the odd thing. So again, if you're interested, well, anybody could do this. Just check up the things Charlie Kirk has said. And he's got a lot of years of record because he started being an activist when he was 18.
18 years old. And he did say some people have to die in order for you to have the right to have that gun.
The freedom.
And I don't know why they keep associating freedom with rifles and guns. And we're up here in the freest country I know, and we don't have this problem.
Gun violence is not an issue. At least not as much. So we have this political divide, the right and the left. We have Trump, who is not the great unifier of America. He is the great divider. Has always been. You can check his words. We can play his words from 2015, or if you really want, you can check the books like the Epstein birthday book and find out who he really was for all those years through the 1990s and before, when he wanted the Central Park Five to be hung in a public declaration against violence perpetrated against white women in Central Park. I mean, he's always been the same nasty. That's POTUS. And when his first words on the death of someone in a public assassination were not words of comfort or of drawing people together.
They were actually anger.
He is stoking the flames of division. He is not a great unifier.
No, and even with this Epstein book, okay, it was him and his cronies that said this needs to be released. And good question, too, by the way, why the Democrats didn't release it when they had control.
But Charlie Kirk first asked for it to be released and then changed his mind.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
Creepers.
so I wonder why. Yeah. Well, he was a good friend.
Well, but this is
Trump.
This is the ultimate in where I just refuse to believe what's right in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
If he changed his mind, he changed his mind because he knows the people in that book.
It's not just him, Tim Pool, and a whole bunch of other far-right, Joe Rogan, other conspiracy theorists who say the same thing. We used to say this, release the files, and I'm not so sure now.
I'm not so sure.
I have confidence in the institutions of government. Let the government do what it... What? What? About face? Hypocrisy. Well, that'll be another topic for another show. Bye-bye for now.